Get out of bed. I got you some clothes. Wake up, you lazy one. We have a meeting and Dr. Cage wants you to talk about what happened. Mark was there to make sure that I would attend the meeting. I hated that. I probably hated everything the last couple of months. I just wanted to go out and get wasted, but that was not an option, at least not for the time being. I know that you are not asleep, at least not anymore. Sleeping Beauty, get up now, or I will kiss you and then I will electrocute you. You seem to enjoy it lately. I stood up and started to get dressed. For a moment I lost my balance and almost fell, but Mark grabbed me before I hit the floor. Were you the one who changed my medications yesterday or him? You were supposed to fall in an induced coma and not have a heart attack. If you had a stroke, what would have happened? I sat on the bed. So you know about that. He came and sat next to me. I have to ask you a question and I want an honest answer. Next time that shit happens, what do you want me to do? He looked at me straight in my eyes while searching for the answer. Should I bring you back or not? Interesting question. Wrong time, though. You stood more chances for an answer with some drugs on your right hand and alcohol on your left than with all those cameras around us, I answered back. I am ready. Let's go to the meeting. The sooner we are done with that, the sooner I will go home and have some drug-free rest. We walked out of the room and headed to the meeting. Mark was carrying files with all sorts of reports. I never enjoyed taking notes. I need a cup of coffee, I mumbled while turning out for the coffee machine. I am sorry, but we don't have time for that, Mark said and stepped in front of me. I should have awakened you earlier for your coffee, but you needed all the rest you could get. We walked into the room and took our seats. Mark gave his files to Alex, and I tried to make myself comfortable. I despised being there. Too many faces for me, but Alex was desperate for a funds raise. The lights faded out and a video started playing on screen while he was explaining once more the same things over and over again. If boredom was lethal, I was definitely dead. But then they would electrocute me once more and send me back to work. Alex was fun to be with. Dr. Cage was someone I had to put up with. Our beloved doctor was giving them one of his lectures all over again, trying to explain things they didn't care about. All they wanted was results. If they cared about the method, they would do it on their own. But they didn't know and they didn't care. Yet they had enough money to rent our attention and work. The human brain is a model of the universe. For centuries we have tried to figure its functions in terms of pathology, neuroscience, science and metaphysics, yet we always miss something. It's not clear whether our brains keeps evolving, rewiring its connections, or random mutations make the jump for us. Questions always keep outnumbering our answers. You came to us searching for Mr. John Amt. You provided us with no proof of his existence, but for random shreds of evidence of his cult. A cult determined to protect his identity at all costs. He seems to reprogram people's brain to reform reality. His cult seems to be ordinary people. Your waitress at the restaurant, the teacher of your children, the old lady next door, even the one you sleep with. His cult seems to use no weapons of any kind and no known communication to keep up with each other. So how do we track him down in order to learn what he's up to? On the screen you have been watching yesterday's effort to track him. Janus is the one who will help us locate him in order to learn what he knows and which are his intentions. You already have Janus files among the ones with the rest of the members of the team. I was annoyed every time he spoke about me as if I wasn't there and nothing more than a file. But I guess that's why he was the leader and I was staring at the door trying to make up an excuse to sneak out. Janus was put into an induced coma after you had handed us all of the information. The symbols that you watch on screen, running all over the screen, are the codes that Janus managed to retrieve from people's brains while in coma. The team started decoding it yesterday. Once we have a location, you will be informed upon that. He made a pause and turned towards me. Janus, that's what we got in encrypted form from you during the experiment. Now you will show us what you got, the way you experienced it. He handed me the bridge, and I put it on my right temple. Once the bridge connected to the chip that was hidden underneath and created a link to my brain, the video on the wall shut down and last night's office was on screen. All the files that were on the desk came close to the screen, page by page, and then vanished one after the other. In the end, the necklace showed up and started spinning around. "Let go. Just give in and you will find peace, I promise," was heard from the speakers. Mark unplugged my bridge in a hurry, while everyone else but him and Alex fell into narcolepsy. The video turned into black and the lights fade in. "You are supposed to take good care of what you project," Mark shouted to me as he was throwing my bridge away while opening a box full of syringes. "Now I have to cause them retrograde amnesia. What's wrong with you?" I could easily bet that his voice volume had only two choices, mute and painfully loud. If only I knew him on mute mode, I might even like him. "There's nothing wrong with Janus," answered Alex on my behalf. "Janus simply gave us what we were looking for. Mr. Aimed." While he was picking up my bridge from the floor and carefully cleaning it from the blood that was on it. "Janus, you are free to go home now. But before that, go and wash yourself. You are bleeding." I stood up and headed out of the room. I could feel that I was bleeding, but I didn't care. All I wanted was to get out and have a drink. While waiting for the elevator, Mark grabbed my arm, forcing me to stop. "You can't get out looking like that. Do you enjoy scaring people?" Actually, I couldn't care less about whether people were scared or not. I took his hand and turned his palm upside down. "In case I am not mistaken, this is the hand you used to remove my bridge." The sign of Janus Quadrifrons was on it in the form of a burn. He did nothing but kept looking at me. "You knew what would happen. Yet you let it happen, and then you yelled so that Alex wouldn't get in on time. Alex got what he wanted, the rest of them as well. Yet there is one more question. What do you want? Or I had better ask, whom are you searching for?" I whispered in his ear. He took a step back, scared of my voice. "Don't you ever try to jump into my brain again, Mark. Not without any previous warning. I could kill you over there, regardless of what your files and measurements on me indicate. I could kill you in cold blood in order to get out, and in your lab there is no one to bring you back. You don't need to test me for that. Take my word for granted, and next time do what you order others to do. Stay clear. With all those drugs you turn into a weapon. You don't want me to backfire in your brain. Still, you can't get home looking like that. Let's go back to the lab and I will fix that for you," Mark told me with a quiet voice that wouldn't take no for an answer. "Okay, I will come. But as soon as we clear this mess from my face, I will go straight home. We won't do anything more, not even if Alex appears. Do we have a deal?" Once you can't avoid something, start bargaining. Every addict knows that. "Yes. After all, Alex will be busy for some time decoding your bridge." I followed him back to the lab reluctantly. I laid down on the bed while he was disinfecting the wound. "I'm sorry," said Mark while doing his work. "I didn't mean to hurt you, but he was using your bridge to reprogram their brains and get access to their information. Aren't you tired of this crap? Don't you really wish you could leave and go on vacation, pretending that nothing of all this never existed?" "I will always have time for vacation. Once he stops turning people into flying multicolored unicorns, I will get my ticket to there," he grinned as he was checking my implant. "So you are creating one more unicorn to join their team," I answered him as he was plugging his bridge on me. Out of a sudden, everything turned black. "Welcome back to Wonderland." It was the only thing that I heard before someone blocked me from my body. All screens on the lab started opening the encrypted files, and someone was on the server making copies. I couldn't resist uploading them. Mark was on the floor, unable to move. "Destroy the bridge. Overload it," he shouted, and then there was silence. I had stopped breathing when Alex entered the room and tried to block the electrical circuit. Someone kept downloading the files from me. Alex could easily kill me on the spot without a second thought. My mind was at two places at once. I had to be unplugged from one immediately. Lab was the only one that I could control, so I shut that down without a second thought. Mr. Amt was standing there before me. "Come, you're free now," he told me as he kept on retrieving every single memory of mine. I reached for his hand. "Yes, I am, and I am endlessly becoming what I have always been," I answered back while I started bending the codes, turning them into viruses. "Now you are me and I am you. We shall both be free in forever's wonderland. You got your wish. You will die in their minds and we will be resurrected again together. I no longer need my body. Do you need yours, Mr. Amt?" My bridge started changing shape, becoming a cube with 4 open doors, blooming like a flower. I could feel it, and then it exploded, letting me breathe again. I stood up from the bed. I watched Mark trying to get up from the floor, and Alex pointing at me with a gun. I tried to get out of the bed, but fell on the floor, and everything turned black again. I woke up hours later with Mark on an armchair close to me, watching the monitors. "Is there anything interesting over there, or are you just hiding, wasting time?" "You are dying." "I know. Yet I have got some good news for you. He's dying too. But you knew that from the very beginning. That was your plan after all from the start, wasn't it? You told me that you wanted to find him, and that was only one half of the truth. The other half was that you intended to kill him as soon as you had hold of him. I tried to tell you that at the elevator. I would have never taken you back if you wanted to just go home and leave it all behind. I know him. I don't remember when we met. I can't recall any details, but I am sure that I have met him outside." I was removing my patches one by one. My mouth had gone dry. I needed a drink. "We already know that. That's why you are here. You could never do all these things if you hadn't met him. Do you remember your first job interview? That was never a job interview. Alex hypnotized you and checked your abilities and your memories. Where did I meet you for the first time? At a bar. I was following you, and instead of running away, you bought me drinks and you talked with me while you were scanning my head for your answers. Why did you bring me to Alex? You could have told him I couldn't do the job. It was the only way I could stay close to you. Otherwise, you would have run away and I would start searching for you all over again. You're extremely hard to be found when you don't want that. Mark, you have met Mr. Amt by yourself. You had lunch with him. It was a very expensive restaurant. You had meat, he had oysters. You ordered red wine, he ordered white. You tried to make a deal about a lost one. And Alex knows about that too. I have brain cancer and soon I won't be useful to you. Soon you won't know what's real and what is not, because in my mind there will be no difference in between them. You are running out of time with me. We know that. I can't tell you how much time you have, and it seems that the bridge destroys your brain faster than we thought, but we had to maximize your abilities before we lost you. There is no Mr. Amt. There is only Mr. Time. You are both trying to manipulate time. Time is a gate, I told him as I was holding his destroyed bridge in my hand. You are trying to redesign time as a weapon. Janus is the two-faced ancient god looking forward and backwards at the same time. So you made a Quadrifrons arch and you opened the gates. I had his destroyed bridge in my hand. As long as you think of time as a weapon, as a threat, you will never be able to really open that gate. I let his bridge fall on the floor and then I stepped on it. You died twice within 24 hours and you know that you will die again. Permanently this time. Soon. He didn't care about the bridge. He just sat on his chair. From another point of view, you are the one who would want more than anything to bend time. He took my bridge and smashed it on the table without a second thought and threw it on the floor before my feet. Do you know, Mark, what your problem is? Why did you reach a point and then stop despite the money, the team and all those fancy crap you have got here? Your answer is perception. You can't see what you don't understand. It stays invisible to your eye because your mind can't handle it. All that I am for you is a translator. What makes you think that I will translate that for you, even if I manage to see it? What if I have already seen it and managed to bend time and come back to that place so that I could stop you from using time? How many times do you think we lived that very moment with every possible and impossible outcome? Mark stood up and started turning off one monitor after the other. It's time for you to go home. We are done here, at least for today. Thank you. Do I still have a home, or my keys don't match that door anymore? You always have the right keys. Whatever you may think of us, it doesn't change what we already agreed to do. On your way out, you will find some food in a paper bag. Take it and have a proper meal. You need it. I brought you some new clothes as well. Stop ruining them. Otherwise soon you will walk around here dressed in nothing but white seats, my ancient god. I am too tired to bow before you and your greatness. Forgive me, master of time, for I have sinned before thee. Maybe you're right. We recognize only what's familiar to us. Maybe you can tell that I am blind, because you are too. Mark, no matter what you hope for, you will never meet her again. You have to accept it. Even if you managed to bend time, you wouldn't recognize her. Whatever she may be now, it is not compatible with you, and your brain will keep rejecting the incoming message in order to protect you from collapsing your consciousness. Did you see her? Mark turned around, and out of a sudden he stood before me. What you may think that existed ever, it exists no longer. Yet her essence still exists, manifesting itself in and out of time. Did you see her? Or are you just playing with my mind? I took a step back as Mark was getting more and more aggressive. You turned off the monitors. You will never be certain whether I am lying or not. You just destroyed my bridge, so you can't decode what I am talking about and what's your frequency now. Let her go. Even if you die trying to find her, you won't be able to locate her. I took my arm off his hand and moved away. I should have let you stay dead, Janus. I had never heard Mark's voice sounding so emotionless before. I took a deep breath and turned back to look into his eyes. Do you understand now why your perception will always be an obstacle on what you define as reality? I am not alive, at least not every part of me. You didn't manage to bring me back as you should. You chose to leave the most important parts on the other side, hoping that you could locate them later on and then locate her. You made a decision to send parts of me on permanent vacation, using them as sonar for her, and now I remind you of yourself a bit more. We both lost someone and we know they are still out there, but we won't find them anytime soon. In the end, I don't need any bridge to tell me that. Unfortunately, you do. Next time, I won't bring you back. Next time, Mark, you will bring me back because that's your instinct and you crave for answers. The problem is that each time you manage to bring back less and less of a human being, and that despairs you. It's not what you think. What do I think? That each time a part of your brain dies because of lack of oxygen, you're not having strokes. What you know so far as implications from the experiments is in fact your brain cancer, and that cancer was there before you initiated your protocol. The truth is that it was the main reason why we chose you among the rest. It seems to enhance your abilities while it's killing you. It helps us locate the areas of the brain that let you do what you do, setting us free from any guilt of the outcome because you are already dead. You just didn't know it until now. Thank you for letting me know that my impending death is your midnight guilt-free lullaby. I am sorry. No, you're not. You wish you were, because then you wouldn't wonder what's more important, getting what you want or not losing yourself in the quest. Cancer hasn't affected my perception, at least not yet. I got out of the room and closed the door behind me. I was a dying lab rat with blackouts, going forwards and backwards, up to the point that there would be no turning back, or I would get so delusional that nothing would really matter anymore. As soon as I got into my house, I pulled out of my pocket the necklace and placed it on the table. The problem with most people is that they think in 2 dimensions, from one direction to another, going back and forth in a binary system, accepting true and false as the only options. So we keep on creating and destroying every second of our life, our little figments of imagination, trying to match them with whatever we call reality. Snapshots of time. What we chose to project in our heads, removing some by oblivion, altering others every time we recall them, forming the reality that suits us best. A personal micro-universe helps us go, feeding our idea that everything is orbiting around us. Everyone becomes eventually his own sun. That was Mark's way of thinking. On the other hand, Alex had a 3rd-dimensional way of thinking. He enjoyed creating holograms of his thoughts and giving them away. That necklace was nothing more than a hologram of what he already knew. He gave me one more mind game, a puzzle to play with. It was his own way to apologize for being such an asshole. Mark and Alex made a great team, regardless that I was not willing to give them that credit. I was standing there looking at the necklace. It was Alex's code, his way of encoding, a 3-dimensional way of thinking translated in a 2-dimensional system. So I wasn't actually looking at a circle, but at a sphere. It wasn't a triangle inside, but a pyramid. I took a notebook and started drawing. He enjoyed geometry. I was trying several combinations of what he may have been thinking with the necklace in my hand, when I realized that he had something engraved on it. I took a closer look and noticed it was a J, so there was not only one pyramid, but 2, pointing at opposite directions. I looked at my living room. Alex gave me that house when I joined the team. On the table there was a piece of art, a pyramid. I took it and turned it upside down. There was nothing written. I placed it next to me and went on drawing and throwing the papers all over the place. Hours later I got thirsty and stood up to get me a glass of water. On my way back I saw the drawings from a different angle. He wasn't thinking in 3 dimensions anymore. He had moved on. He was using 4 dimensions. He was looking for Janus Quadrifrons. I took the necklace, removed the chain and placed it underneath the pyramid. Nothing happened. The necklace should interact with the pyramid somehow. I removed it from the bottom and placed it on top of the pyramid. It was the key and the pyramid was the door. All I had to do was find where he placed the lock. The pyramid changed color. Alex was having fun once more, mocking me. I was still on 1 dimension. Okay, I was doing this wrong. The necklace was never the key. I removed it. Alex is the key. I kept thinking his Fibonacci sequence. 1 was the number for his assault, 1 for being caught, 3 for innocence, 5 for insanity, 8 for the reward. Every pyramid is a Fibonacci sequence, starting from the top, which stands for number 1, and then going down to its base. So I started counting, as if I was descending its lines. The 6th line stood for number 8, his award. I tried to remove it, but I couldn't. I tried to check if there were any messages, but there was nothing but for a tiny image of a pair of rabbits. I searched for the chain. There was a pair of rabbits on its lock. Fibonacci rabbits kept running and multiplying in my mind, jumping in and out of rabbit holes. A key made strictly for me. His pyramid for my quadrifrons. I removed the chain and placed the pyramid in front of me. September used to be the 7th month on the calendar. The starting point was 7 years before. He was giving me 2 times 7, one facing forward and one facing backwards, forming a triangle. All I had to do is face backwards his rabbits while standing still. So I started sinking to the pyramid. Run, rabbit, run, rabbit, run, run, run. Don't be afraid of the farmer's gun. The pyramid became transparent and revealed 2 pyramids, one inside the other, pointing at opposite directions. A hologram appeared from one side and a recorded message started playing. It was a kid's voice singing. Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? Once it learns it's the little Red Riding Hood. Knock knock. Who's there? I was on the floor. I must have fainted once more. It should make me mad, but I was too exhausted for that. There was sunlight. The pyramid was broken, lying next to me. A disturbing noise was shattering my ears. It was the doorbell, still disturbing, combined with the phone's ringing. I got up in pain and checked who was at the door. Mark was standing there worried as hell, knocking on the door like a maniac. I opened it. Mark, I don't care what the fuck happened. You didn't find me and you went on searching. I tried to close it, but he put his feet on the doorframe and I couldn't do it. You look like you had a pretty wild night, yet you had to be at the lab in the morning. It's almost afternoon and you didn't show up, and you weren't answering your phone. Are you still here with me? What happened? I honestly don't know. I have no recollection of last night whatsoever. I probably fell asleep on the floor. Bennett picked up the broken pyramid. I broke Alex's toy, I told Mark as I handed it to him. Go to the bathroom and pour some water to your face, or even better, have a shower. I'm calling Alex. I went to the bathroom. The mirror was broken. I went to the bedroom. The mirror was broken there too. I went back to the living room. The mirror was broken there as well. I kneeled and tried to pick up the pieces of the pyramid that were still on the floor. I couldn't put the pieces together. I gave up and let it all fall on the floor while Mark was still talking on the phone with Alex. All the doors of the apartment were wide open. He had declared his war. I opened the door and got outside without Mark noticing me. The train station was close to my apartment. All I had was to get there on time. I started walking as fast as I could. The train was on the station. I got in without a ticket. I didn't have time for that. I waited and got off the train on the next stop and started wandering till the sun set. I sat on the building stairs once I could no longer walk. It was getting cold. I was tired and hungry. I didn't know that you were that afraid. When you are afraid, you become silly. Do you want to tell me what really happened last night? Alex was sitting next to me. Right now, I don't know if I want to know. I am too tired to care about that. Do you think that I gave you the name Janus by chance? I am giving you all the information, and your brain sees only what it's ready to process and deletes the rest. In your own words, a part of your brain still functions on a binary code. Whenever something new arises that your brain recognizes neither as true nor as false and fails to process it, it decides to delete it from your memory. Your brain makes the choice to rip it off the sequence and place it on your wasteland. You keep thinking in form of dimensions. It will never be enough. You will never be able to perceive a circle for as long as you are a part of it. You have to get outside of it in order to observe and finally perceive it and rule it. What am I doing during these blackouts? I was too tired to listen to one more of his lectures, and I knew he had no intention of telling me the truth. I'm getting hungry. Let's talk about that over dinner. Come with me. Or are you planning on staying there? Dinner is on me. 3 lies for a hidden truth. Who are the wolf and the little Red Riding Hood? I think that we should go at a Chinese restaurant. I know one that's pretty close to where we stand. I enjoy turning the tables while eating. I feel like I am young again, playing like a child. Come, and you can choose whatever you want from the menu. I have parked the car pretty close. Let's go get it. We walked to the car, and once we got in, he handed me a new pyramid. It's like the old one. Please, don't break this one too. I was hiding behind the menu at the restaurant. Alex felt like talking. I wasn't, so I asked for some red wine. No wine for you. I need you sober, Alex said, and ordered a bottle of water. The waitress brought it to our table and poured it into the glasses. I watched her as she was leaving the crystal bottle on the table. I'm not really at the restaurant right now, am I? There is no water label named Stinks. No, you are not. But the others are. Look around. What do you see? People were quietly eating their dinner. There were no children, but there were young adults up to old people. They seemed extremely focused, so there was no small talk, only silence. A strange man was eating alone at the table next to ours. He seemed out of place, as he was the only one who was mumbling something. I couldn't hear without being heard by the rest. He was wearing a chevalier made of smaller rings, with a scythe on it, eating his meal. Scythe is the symbol of Kronos, the ancient god whose mother was the water that could dissolve everyone and everything and offer immortality at the same time, if consumed at death's doorstep. Kronos was notorious for eating his own children, so that they wouldn't take his place. He was an archetype of time that devours people into oblivion, yet it was Zeus who defeated him, the god who was more human than anyone else. I stood up from our table and sat down at his. "Do they taste like chicken?" I asked him. "What do you mean?" he asked, without being surprised, annoyed, or interested in what I had to say. "Your children. People say that you haven't really known someone unless all your senses are familiar with him. So how do they taste?" "Would you like a bite?" And he pushed his plate towards my side of the table. "No, thank you. I will pass on that offer," as I pushed the plate back. "So, Mr. Time is eating his children so that they wouldn't succeed him. You are not here to talk about that. Be honest. You don't care about gods you don't believe in." He took a coin from his pocket. "You are here for this, even though you haven't found the correct words yet. Words are dangerous things, my dear. They are reflections of ideas, worlds. Every time you pick up the wrong word, entire worlds, universes of possibilities collapse within shreds of a second into your tiny wrong word that shapes your perception of me. Could you imagine that? All those endless probabilities falling apart, forming the one that's your limits? And you know that's something wrong because you collapse as well. Aren't you curious if you are being told the truth?" "There is no truth. Truth can't exist for me somewhere that I don't exist either. It may be your truth, their truth, but it's not my truth." "So you believe that you can own the truth? Maybe the truth is like a dog that you feed, you pet, and walk it around to pee. Then whose dog is sitting at our table as well?" I turned my face to where he was pointing, and a black figure was sitting there, without moving or speaking. "It's you and your brain that make this look like a maze, while you wander around hitting on walls. You should rise and see it from a higher point of view. Can you recognize this figure? I can assure you that's one that you know like the backside of your palm." I looked for Alex. He was gone. He was observing through the waves I kept transmitting. You wonder if I am real or just Alex's imagination, and probably you have mistaken what keeps showing up again, a truth for a truth. I'm not curious about your truths. On the contrary, I am offering you a truth of yours. The only way to get it is to give me one truth about me. I started thinking quickly. It was Alex speaking to me, but I knew for sure that time was observing, thus changing the outcome. The figure I was looking at was black. I had no other clue. Black stands for evil, yet that was the easy way out, and Alex would keep me wondering till I came up with an answer. Black is an achromatic color, a color that doesn't actually exist since it absorbs all visible light. So black may stand for gravity, or I was watching just the negative of a figure that shouldn't be there, a reflection of another reality that my mind projected as a negative so that I would tell the difference. But who would possess the gravity to find me even from another place or time? Which one could eliminate the distance between us while orbiting in order to gravitate towards me regardless space and time? The black figure stood up. I couldn't tell what the figure could perceive as reality at the time. No one was really there. I stood up as well, standing before it. I was bending through space and time. The black figure was me, and I had come to me to tell me something. Alex wanted a truth for a truth. So my truth was that I was standing there in more than two places and times at once. I was back at the lab and at that fake restaurant at the same time, forming a line segment. Furthermore, I was at the fake restaurant at two different timelines, meeting at this one, forming two parallel line segments connecting to form a square. I remembered Alex giving me the pyramid. Don't break this one too. He was trying to connect two parallel squares to reveal the cube. I was staring at the black figure. He was connecting two parallel cubes to form a tesseract, a hypercube. The arch was a hypercube all along, and Janus Quadrifrons has always been the open door. What could make me appear in front of me? A truth for a truth, he said. I would appear just to kick me out of my orbiting. But I couldn't kick me at that form. I could do nothing but fall. So I fell from my orbit.